Okay. Well, welcome everybody to the meeting of the Corporate Policy and Finance Committee. This will be a informal meeting under the terms of the Council resolution of the 10th of May. So this is an advisory meeting, though I am sure that the Town Clerk will take note of any recommendations that we make should be any decisions need to be ratified. Okay, I suggest we move on with the agenda. The first item is apologies. I don't believe, assuming the Mayor joins us, that there will be any.
Yeah, nothing else has been received, Chair.
Thank you. Declarations of interest. Jolly good. Excellent. Excellent. To make it simple. Right. Chairman's report. Well, as a relatively new chairman, I would like to add at this particular stage is that, as I've just said, I am just assuming this role, which I've inherited from Councillor Maynard, who has served in this role for a number of years previously, and I'm pleased to decide to continue as Vice Chair of the committee. I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank her for her service to this committee over those years. So thank you, Mary. Thank you. Right. Any public questions in accordance with Standing Order 22?
None received, Chair.
Thank you. Okay. The minutes of the Corporate Policy and Finance Committee held on the 10th of March 2021, which have been circulated. Does anybody have any comments? No. Okay. Can I see agreement to approving those minutes? Thank you. I assume that I'll be asked to sign those at some appropriate future date.
Yes, yeah, I can drop them around here or put them in the post, whatever works. That's fine.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
We'll sort that out. Yeah. Right. Minutes of meetings referred to this committee. The minutes of the Accounts and Risk Subcommittee held on the 27th of April 2021. Are there any comments from councillors? Excellent. This is going well. Can I see an approval for those minutes, please? Thank you. Okay. Officers' reports. Forward Planner and Resolution Tracker. Finance Officer?
Okay, so this is the forward plan and resolution tracker. The only thing I'd like to really draw to your attention, because it's the normal reports are in the forward plan. It's just a case of if I can just draw your attention to the resolution tracker, and so you can make note that the littering item that's on the resolution tracker, that's due for update report in the November CPF. That's the only thing I'd like to draw to your attention.
Yes. Are there any other comments on the forward planner and resolution tracker? No. Okay. Can we take recommendation 2 then and propose to take the two items together, noting and recommending the forward planner and the resolution tracker? Can I have a general agreement to that? Thank you. Okay, item 7.2, terms of reference.
Sorry, Chair, can we do the 2.1.2 as well, just to vote on that, just to be sure?
Oh, you want a separate vote? I
think that's what we needed.
Okay, well, I'm happy to do that.
Just
if everybody else, yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Yeah. So sorry, because there have been no comments, I assume we could take them together. But,
I'm not sure. I just wanted to be certain, Chair. Thank you.
No problem. Item 7.2, terms of reference. Finance Officer.
I've got nothing really further to add on this. This is the terms of reference that was approved by full council on the 10th of May, and it's just, I'm happy to take any comments or queries, and we can put a further report back together and take that to council if there's any amendments that people would like to put forward.
Can I assume that there are no changes to previous terms of reference here, are there?
No.
No. Do councillors have any comments or additions or deletions to the terms of reference? Wonderful. Okay, can I have a general agreement then to the terms of reference? Thank you. Right, item 7.3, provisional outturn 2021. Finance Officer's comments?
Thank you, Chair. So the first point I just wanted to make, it's a simple one, but just so everyone's clear, the reason why I've called it the provisional, it's very unlikely there's to be any further changes, but just in case the external auditors, when they review our accounts, there could be some further changes once they've looked at things. So that's why I've called it provisional, but I'm not expecting any further changes to come forward in this. And just to highlight on, where are we? So on page 22 of the pack, so on section 3.13, so the two biggest numbers on that table with the 262,000 and the 25,000, that's the largest variance on there, but just to be clear, that's not a saving, that's purely a timing issue that we've got, where with those monies being put into reserves and they will be spent this year or in future years. So it's not a saving, it's just a timing difference. But that was the main points that I wanted to make on the report, but I'm happy to take any further questions.
Yeah, just to clarify that, what you mean is that those items will be covered by utilisation of earmarked reserves in when they're actually spent.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
My general comment on this is a remarkable set of figures given the past year that we have just been through. I think to have a position in which the outturn is within the revised budget that was set in May 2020 after the COVID crisis started, and to not utilise any general reserve, despite obviously the significant reduction in commercial income, is a tribute to the robustness of these accounts. And I'd like to obviously thank the officers for that. I think that is a significant outcome. Do any councillors have any other comments on the outturn? Councillor Turnbull.
Thanks, Chair. May I ask the Finance Officer, just as perhaps this is not the time to raise it, but while we've been mentioning any questions, bearing in mind there's now an apparent rise in raw material costs and also labour costs on contracts, and bearing in mind some of these provisions or reserves are to be spent in the future, do you have any feeling, Dan, as to whether we're going to have to spend more money than we've allocated for the simple reason costs have gone up? I mean, I'm not wanting a firm commitment, I'm just getting some feel. You must have some feel as to what you see going on, just to alert us for the future.
Thank you, Chair. So I think the only thing I can really say on it is all of the projects that we've got going on at the minute are all within budget. So we're not, whether it be the play area or the boardwalk at Batford Springs, all the things that we've got going on at the minute, there's no big increases that we're seeing at the minute. But not to say that that won't come in the future, but at the minute with the existing projects, they're all on target.
Okay, thank you. I would suggest, Chair, we all be alert to the possibility that some of these amounts we've set aside, we may find through no fault of our own, that we might find that we don't have quite enough reserves to cover future expenditure on some of these items. That's my only observation.
I think that's a fair comment, and we need to keep an eye on it. That's obviously one of the reasons we have the reserves that we do carry. It's also something obviously we'll need to bear in mind as time goes on in terms of the budgeting process going forward. So I think it's a fair point, well made, and it's something we need to keep in mind. Any other questions? No. Okay. Can we therefore note the provisional outturn for 2021? Thank you. Okay. Item 7.4, year-end accounts 2021. Finance Officer.
Thank you. So this is the position for 2021. So the main things that I wanted to draw to your attention that was mentioned earlier as well, I guess, but with the just the strong financial position that we're in with the reserve. So just to highlight that we've got 20,000 being added to the general reserve from the favourable variances that have been generated this year, which I think I mentioned in the report that it's around approximately 5 months of the net revenue spend, which is the sort of where we need to be is between I think the maximum recommended is up to 6 months. So we're in the right ballpark of where we need our general reserves to be. And just to highlight as well on page 28, so I've gone through an exercise to make sure that all of the existing earmarked reserves are fit for purpose that we had, as well as identifying where we needed new earmarked reserves to fund known additional expenditure that we've got. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. And as much as it is a good news story, we're in a very good, strong financial position, but because of the revised budget that was agreed by council last May, there's been lots of pieces of work that haven't been able to be carried out in 2021, and obviously those pieces of work haven't gone away, so they're still there. So I just wanted to make that small additional point as well, if that's okay, Chair.
Are there any questions or comments on the 2021 accounts? Excellent. I love it. I love it. It reminds me of being back in a commercial organisation, because people are always bored by accounts, so that's fine. Okay. Moving on to item 7.6. So 7.5, the Citizens Advice update. Finance Officer.
Thank you, Chair. So hopefully there's no surprises in the information, as it's the normal quarterly information that we get from the Citizens Advice Bureau, but I'm happy to take any questions away with me if anyone has any.
I mean, I'm just generally of the view this is an essential service in the town, and it provides a valuable service. It is difficult to gauge that service in a year in which advice is given out by telephone calls and so on and so forth. That is difficult to assess, but it would seem to me still to be an extremely valuable service. Do councillors have any comments on the report? Councillor Maynard.
Just think it's a very worthy service and we should continue to support it.
Thank you. I agree. Councillor Priggen.
Thank you, Chair. I was just wondering, I mean, we're getting these type of reports and they seem quite reactive. What I never quite get is whether the level of funding is sufficient for what they're aiming to do, whether this allows enough access for people to this service. And I was wondering what people would feel if we invited them just to come for one of our meetings. We asked them to do a quarterly update, but whether they could just come and maybe talk to us for 10 minutes about how they feel it's going, whether they can do what, whether they feel they can do what they're set out to do with the support both we give and that they get from the community.
Interesting point.
Sorry
Councillor
about
Mena?
that.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Mena?
I think I probably benefit from many years of having done this committee. Citizens Advice in Harpenden is actually the Citizens Advice which covers the whole of St Albans district. It's extensively funded, not only by us, but also by district, the district council. They have, I think I'm not sure if they're still there, but for a long time, they had space in district council offices. They may have moved over the, I'm not sure what's happening at the moment, but they also have a large grant. And they're also funded at a county level by county and at a national level by government. So I would say the Citizens Advice gets fairly significant funding from the public sector. The money in Harpenden we gave them a much smaller grant, but we used to allow them to have an office in the town council building. They originally used it 5 days a week, but over time, over about 10 years, that gradually decreased until they were only doing 2 2-hour sessions in that office. And it was felt that it could be used at the same time. The town council had grown and everybody was literally sitting on top of each other, and we were thinking that we would need more office space. So what we did was we talked with them. We gave them this grant to cover any costs they might incur from not having our office space, and we paid for the heating, the office space, the phone lines, everything like that. So this was to cover the cost of moving into other facilities. Since they found it difficult, things kept falling through for them, and eventually they settled where they are now. And this could then be used for things like IT, etc., for their people who work remotely. So this is a long history, and this grant is not given just as a way of supporting the Citizens Advice. It's given to offset the fact that they used to have offices in our building, in effect. So quite a long history there with the Citizens Advice.
I think, there is a quarterly report being presented here, and there is a grant from the town council. I agree there's a long history to this, but probably it would be worth us as the town council, since we're giving a grant here, just to understand, what they're doing. If it's worth them sending you a quarterly report, then it's probably worth them seeing what we're actually doing here. I'll take an action away to talk to the finance officer about how we might take that forward, whether that's asking them to make a short presentation, and I mean short presentation, or otherwise about the grant. But there is a quarterly report, so I'm not averse to that. Are there any other comments or questions? No. Can we therefore note that report? Thank you. Right. Item 7.6, funding for the King's Pantry. Finance officer.
Thank you, Chair. So I just wanted to make clear that this isn't an additional grant on the council's budget. this is repurposing the funds that were originally allocated to the Harpenden Seniors Fund that are no longer required. So I just wanted to make clear that there's no impact on the council's finances by issuing this grant, but happy to take any questions.
It looks like a worthy course to me. I saw Councillor Turnbull and then Councillor Maynard.
May I just ask Dan to confirm the King's Pantry Food Bank, that's purely a Harpenden activity, is it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Maynard.
Thank you, Chair. I've worked with the King's Pantry Food Bank for about 18 months. They are an incredibly valuable organisation to the town. They literally step in for people who are in serious trouble at their lowest ebb. They help both individuals and families. Any one time they can have between about 20 and 40 people receiving weekly food parcels from them. They are sometimes people's last resort. For example, I know of one family where the woman left an abusive husband, several kids, couldn't access kind of state help very quickly. The food bank stepped in and kept them supplied with food for a few weeks until she managed to get everything else sorted out. So they also help people who've had longer term issues with addictions of various sort, and they are the most marvelous organisation, totally non-judgmental, and if people are in need, they will help them. Nigel, I think in the last 18 months, I've known of 3 people outside Harpenden who have been helped by them, and they're people who've literally been on the Harpenden-Luton border. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're very, very close. It is in Harpenden, and there used to be 2 food banks. There used to be one run by the Salvation Army, and the other one run by the church. They came together so that they could support each other in delivering this alternative food bank. It runs in a different way from the there is one other food bank which works at district level. It is one where if you have a problem and you come to them, they will help you. So I think they're well worthy of our support.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Mayor. You join us on the last item.
Oh, well timed. Sorry, everyone. I just, yeah, there was just a meeting earlier, which I won't go into it now, but yeah.
That's fine. Are there any other comments on the recommendation of this grant for the King's Pantry? Okay. Could I ask people to agree the recommendation? Thank you. Okay. Well, that was a relatively painless exercise for me as the new chair. Thank you for your attendance. The time is 7:54. Mr. Finance Officer, I think we can close the meeting at this stage, or should I say when the next meeting is, which I think is the 22nd of September?
So, yes, that's correct, Chair.
Yep.
Thank you, Chair. 25 minutes. Very impressive.
Thank you.